This is how your radiator looks like if you're constantly using just water alone every morning on your radiator. This is how your radiator looks like if you're just using ordinary water daily on your radiator. It's going to cost you money, and it's going to also, it might cost you your engine life if you're not careful. Welcome to the Afro channel, where we talk about everything cars, from car sales to car repairs to car maintenance. And today we'll quickly look into coolant or water. Which is better, coolant or water? Which is more preferred, and which will do the job more for you? Very quickly, the answer is just coolant. The basic answer is coolant. If you've used coolant and you've also used water, you'd compare both of them to know which is better. And basically, the answer will always be that coolant is the best. Aside from having a high boiling point, unlike water boils at around 100 degrees and all that. Coolant will always boil, or the highest boiling point of a coolant will always be around 120 to 140 degrees, which makes it a lot more better in countries where it gets extremely hot. And if you're in traffic and the car is about to overheat and all that, coolant is actually the best. Coolant prevents overheating, unlike water. If you've used water before, I've had a practical experience with water. I've had it overheat in traffic several times in my previous car. But with coolant, it prevents overheating because of its boiling point, high boiling point. So it prevents overheating. So if you're constantly stuck in traffic, if you live in countries where it gets extremely hot and all that, coolant is actually the best for you. Also, coolant has anti-freezing capabilities and properties such as ethylene glycol. If you live in countries where it gets extremely cold, it could freeze. And what it means is if water freezes, definitely water will freeze. If it freezes there, it will expand. It could expand the radiator and cause it to crack. And then sometimes you notice leakages underneath your engine. It might be water. It might be water from the radiator. So the radiator now has a crack caused by using ordinary water if you live in countries where it gets extremely cold. So coolant doesn't freeze that way. Coolant has anti-freezing chemicals that prevents it from freezing. So it's actually the best if you live in countries where it's extremely extremely cold and it freezes and all that. So coolant is actually the best. Coolant also has anti-rust, anti-corrosion properties. Like if it's like the video I posted there, you would see how dirty that radiator was caused by corrosion and rust. So this is what coolant does for you. Coolant prevents this from happening. Coolant is actually very, very important. It prevents rust. It prevents corrosion. It has chemicals that helps prevent all this. So coolant is actually the best if you want to have a very clean and very clean radiator. So coolant will actually do the magic for you, because coolant is actually the best in that aspect. Also, I understand that water is very, very easy to get. It's quite cheap. You can actually do a top up every morning. Coolant prevents you from doing this top up every morning. Yeah, so every morning, if you check your engine every morning, you'll see that you always have a good level of coolant there, but you always notice that your water has gone down. So you always want to do a top up with water. That's what coolant does for you. So with coolant, you don't really necessarily need to do a top up every morning, but with water you have to do that. So you always have to check your level, water levels and all that. Even though yes, you have to check your fluid levels daily in the car before you drive, but you always notice that your coolant is actually always there because it doesn't evaporate. Yeah, because of its the chemicals and properties it has, coolant is actually the best in that aspect. So this is why, like I mentioned, coolant is actually the best. Try and use coolant. And also, if you've had your radiator for a long time, take it out, take it to a mechanic to wash it. That's how that you've seen on that video. We're trying to wash that radiator there, and you see how dirty it was, just so it doesn't block your engine. If it blocks your engine, what it means is it will definitely affect your engine. It's going to, once it burns your top gasket, it affects your engine. It will cost you money by changing the top gasket. And if you visit a mechanic that doesn't know how to do it, that wouldn't allow the engine to cool, to like get the temperature a bit lower before they change the top gasket, it will affect the engine. And if it affects the engine, it means you might have to buy a new engine. So that is why you need to ensure that you always get coolant. And how do you know the right coolant to buy? Like I mentioned previously, all you need to do is check your car manual, double check your car manual to know the right one that is good for your car. Every car has a different coolant and all. There's blue, there's green, the couple of colors that are out there for that's for coolant and all that. So all you need to do is check your car manual, or you could just drive into a Helford's car shop all they will need to do is ask you for a registration number. Once they ask you for a registration number, once you give that to them, they will bring out the one that's actually good for your car. So what driving to any health was around, if you're in the UK and all that, driving there, they will let you know the one that is okay for your car, and that's all you need to do. Just do a top up in the morning, level it, and then that's all, you're good to go. So like I said, how do you know the one that's good for your car? Quickly either check your car manual or drive into the car shop and then double check. It is very, very important. Do not jinx this, do not risk it, do not play with this, just so you don't have to change your engine over and over again. So coolant is actually the best. It has a lot of properties that would preserve your engine. I will see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please drop that in the comment section, and I'm always going to be here to answer that for you. I will see you on the next video.